Yeah. So, hello team. It's Harshit, and along with me, Amit Joshi is here. So wor- we are working as a developer in Antino team. So today's session is all about the basic of the introduction to the Linux environment and some basics about the Linux. So when we talk about a Linux, it's just an open source OS, right? Which we can install on any machine, and it's a free distribution. So there is nothing paid version of it, right? So and Linux is just a command line tool in the first phase of its development, and then it's by the with the improvements there is a UI is also implemented by the developers of Linux. So yeah, so if you talk about the components of the Linux system, then the basic components are the kernels, system libraries, and the system utilities, right? So the kernel is just a core part of the Linux, and it's just responsible for performing all the major activities, involve any kind of activities which we can through the commands and the UI nowadays. And the system library components have some special functions in program which uses a application program and system utilities like moving the files and storing the files, etc. And the system utilities which can responsible to the specialization and individual level tasks, right? So these are the components, and the basic features which we can include for the Linux are, so it is, as I said, that it is an open source OS, right? So it is portable in nature, and it also has an feature of multi-programming. That means we can run the multiple application at the same time. And obviously, the Linux environment is the most secure operating system environment, right? So as it is based on the encryption of the data and some other algorithms in order to store or store the files and all, right? So basically, Linux is an CLI based operating system, and nowadays it also comes up with the desktop views like we have in the Windows, So you can list out all the directories onto the command line also, and onto the UI based screens also, right? So when and the other thing is the distributions present for the Linux. Like, so there are in the market currently various distributions are present. Commonly, if we go through with commonly we are generally used with Ubuntu distribution of the Linux, and there are some more like Red Hat, if you heard about, and Debian is also one kind of Linux based OS, right? So these are some distributions. And as you can see, like on the Linux, the big advantage of using the Linux, some software tools are also come up with a free license kind of thing. So you don't need any kind of license in order to operate those kind of tools like Adobe Reader and etc, right? So, and the basic thing that is very interesting about the Linux is that the command line tool is come up with some kind of default editors present in the Linux OS. Those are VI and gedit and menu editors, right? Amit, as soon as we go through with the session, Amit can perform some of the basic operations as he has a Linux system, right? So he can perform and show you that how can we use the editors, and how can we go through the Linux directory structure, right? So over to you, Amit. So you can share your screen and just first show the structure of the Linux directory structure, and then go proceed with the basic commands and the operations.
Yeah, sure, sir, sure. Thank you. So let me just share my screen. Okay, hope my screen is visible to everyone. Yeah. Okay, so Uh, is my screen visible? Anyone can confirm?
Yes, Amit.
Okay.
It's
So
pretty
there is,
beautiful.
yeah. Okay, so there is a documentation which will be, following throughout this session. So this is the sequence which we'll be following and all the things which we'll be covering throughout the session. So the overview of the session will be, going through basics of what Linux is, what its file structure, and some basic commands which we use in, daily day-to-day tasks. If you are using an Linux operating system, the history Harshit sir has already gone through that. Linux is just nothing, just a operating another operating system which is open source, so that anyone can contribute to it, anyone can access to it for read purpose or for contribution purpose. And for the same, thousands of people has contributed, and different communities have contributed it to it till now. So that's why we now have different distributions or different flavors of Linux which is present currently in the market. So few of them are maybe some you guys have heard of also: Red Hat, Fedora, Ubuntu, Debian, Linux Mint, OpenSUSE. So these are the things. So for this session, we will be doing all the practical work in Linux Mint, that my local operating system is. So we'll be performing all the operations in Linux Mint operating system. And there is really a fun fact that few or many of people, misconcept that Linux is nothing but a Unix operating system, which is not. Linux is not a Unix operating system. It is just when Linux designed from scratch, it is designed by the way of looking Unix. So it is Unix based operating system, but not properly Unix operating system. Many of the commands can be relatable, but not completely. Okay, so yeah, so okay, so let's first go through the Linux directory structure, file structure. So this is a picture of all the directories which we get, basically from in a Linux based operating system. I can show you here also. So in the GUI it looks like this. So this by looking at it, it looks like pretty much mess. Lots of directories are there. We don't see like program files and user compatible names which we oftenly see on Windows. So but it's nothing, it's really pretty simple. Let's go through one by one what these directories are nothing but folders. So they known as directories in Linux operating system. So let's go through that. So initially there is a forward slash. This forward slash represent the root, the base of everything. Everything start in Linux operating system with the root. So this is the root. Okay, and so let's go one by one with these. What these directories are, where are different files, binary files, operating system, bootloaders, and everything stored. And then we will dive into terminal to go some fun fact commands and how they can use. So let's go through first. So first directory which we'll be going through is slash bin. So slash represent root here, and the bin is the directory name. So this directory, as its name explains, it stores the user binaries. So, so this will be the uh, okay. So this will be the directory here. When you go through that, all the binary files will be stored here. Binary files, as in all the programs which we will be running, the some commands like cat, ls. We will be going through these commands. So these commands and binaries will store in slash bin directory. So that's about bin. Another directory with similar name is sbin. So it is similarly, but it comes with S means system binaries. So this directory will also contain all the binary files, but this directory can only be accessible with the root user, or we can say the super user. So what the super user is, we'll be going through in the lecture. So just remember that sbin is nothing but another directory which contain binary files, but with system binary files which only super user can access. Third directory we come is slash boot. So pretty much explained by name, bootloader files. So all our operating system bootloaders and everything will be stored in slash boot directory. So there is a fun fact that whenever you are exploring Linux operating system, play around anything, but don't play around boot folder, because it contains the bootloader and everything of your operating system. So this is about slash boot directory. And then we got slash dev. So slash dev is another directory which contain device files. Any USB or any other floppy disk or anything you attach to your system. So those device files will be contained in slash dev. And then we got slash etc, another directory which contain whole systems configuration files. Whenever you install any of the software, suppose you installed any web server like Apache, Nginx, and any other software, Python and anything. So mainly most of the configuration files will be stored in slash etc folder. So this is about slash etc. Then we have slash lib folder. Slash lib folder contains library files, libraries which are nothing, the files which applications which applications can use to perform various actions. These are the libraries. So all the libraries of our system will be stored in slash lib folder. And then we have slash mnt and slash media. So these 7 and 8, these both directories are pretty much same. So these directories contain all the removal devices. Suppose when we connect any external hard disk or any external USB floppy disk or anything. So regarding these files, so everything will be contained in slash mnt and slash media directory. So this is about that. Slash opt, as it's contain optional add-on applications. So any additional application which will be installed by the vendors by us, so this they will go in slash opt folder. Then we have slash proc, which stands for process information. So this folder contains all the sudo related file system. Sudo means, as I say, super user, which we will be going through that. And then we have slash root directory. Okay, so slash root directory, which contains all the root users home directory. Suppose by default, when you install an Linux operating system, you got a privilege of a user, super user, which known as root. So you got the all privilege root folder. So your home directory will be stored in slash root folder. And then we have slash srv, service data, which contains nothing but all the csv related data and all everything service related information will be stored in slash srv. Then we have temporary for temporary files. Whenever you are working on any session, suppose you have opened your terminal and you're working on any particular application, so all the temporary files which will be last till the session lasts will be stored in slash temp. As soon as you close the terminal and start another session, so these slash tmp files will be empty. So this is about it. And at last we have user slash usr. So this contain all the information regarding users. Suppose you have created 2 to 3 users for your operating system. So all the users have their home all their users related information, which user have which permissions and all these things will be slash user in this directory. And then we have last two directories. Slash where is there, which contain all the variable files, all the system logs. You guys have heard about slash where slash logs, where you can check the system logs and everything. So this contains in slash where directory. And at last we have slash home directory. So every user which you have in your operating system, 2 to 3 user with different names, so they have their different directory in slash home. Suppose slash host slash Amit is another user, Renu is another user, so slash home slash Renu. So these two are the users. So this is pretty much about the the file structure of operating system. As we can relate it to the local disk C in Windows, which comes with pretty human friendly name. So easy to explain. So Linux has its own file structure, which is also quite good. So this is about it, all the theoretical part. So let's go let's go to the all the basic commands which we will be covering. Let's directly go to the terminal. So as soon as you open the terminal, so as you know, Linux is a terminal based operating system, most of terminal based operating system. So as soon as you open the terminal, you get an interface like this. So I'm using Linux Mint.
So you guys can open the terminal using shortcut from the keypad like Control Alt T. So this is the shortcut to open the terminal, and you can also right click on the desktop view and just choose the open the terminal option.
So as soon as you open your terminal, so you'll get something written like this, and there's a prompt here. So this is nothing but the user you are currently in. So I'm in user Amit @ my system name. So this is about it. So the first command which we'll be learning or which we'll be going through in this session will be a command called pwd. So what this command did is, it will just print working directory, the directory you are currently in. It will just print the directory as soon as we hit enter. So it displays that you are currently, Amit user is in currently slash home slash Amit directory slash represent root. So root, there is a folder called Amit, and after that there is a folder called Amit. So we are inside slash home slash Amit directory. So this is pretty much it. Suppose we want to see what are all the files which present in this particular directory. So there is a command for that, which is known as ls, which stands for list. So as soon as you hit that, so it gives you all the content, either it is files or it is directories, which is present in this particular directory where we are currently in. So we have different type of folders here: desktop, document, download music, and all these things. So this prints ls. And then suppose you want to move forward from the directory you are in to any one of this folder or any one of this directory. For that we used cd command, which stands for change the directory. So we are asking to change directory to, suppose let's go to downloads folder. So you just have to type cd change the directory to the downloads one and hit enter. So the prompt here is changes. So now it is showing that you are currently in slash downloads directory. And now if we want to check that which directory we are currently in, we will again type pwd present working directory and hit enter. So it will show that earlier you are in home Amit, and now you have changed the directory to downloads, so you are in downloads directory. So this is how you move around directories in Linux. It is pretty simple. And now there is a command, just to clear out the terminal. You have a lot of mess. If so, there is a command called clear clear. So it does nothing, it just clears your terminal, everything. So this is the command. So I have provided the commands here on the documentation, which we will be sharing with all of you guys, so you can go through that. Every command has a link related to it. You can click on the link, go through more deep what this command is all about and how this performs. So we have covered list command, we have covered how to change the directory, we have covered pwd, which prints our current working directory, we have covered clear command. Okay, so now let's talk about the super user, which which we are talking about earlier. So what this super user is, super user are basically in any of the OS, there are certain files or directories which only a certain user have access to, and not all the users have access to. So the user which have access to everything inside an operating system, so in Linux that user is known as super user, which is called, so we represent that with the command of sudo. So sudo is a command. Suppose you are a common user which don't have administrative access, or any access to access any particular directory, and you want to access it. So you have to write sudo. So sudo is nothing. So if you type sudo in front of any command, it will give you super user privileges, and with the help of that you can do anything you want. Okay, so this is what sudo command stands for. And suppose you are currently in Amit, you are currently using Amit user, and you want to move to super user. Okay, so you want to move to super user, and see like how the super user directory looks like and everything. So you don't have to do anything, you learn to su. So su stand for switch user, and then you have to do nothing, hit enter. So not anyone can access the super user. The one who has the password, who knows the password for it, can be accessed. So I'll just enter the password here. So as soon as I enter the password, it will, okay, the password is wrong. Okay, I'm entering the wrong password, sorry for that. Okay, see, so as soon as you run sudo su, so it will, now you see the all the prompts which coming from the front has changed. Earlier it was showing Amit, so now it is showing root, which I explained you earlier. Root is the one who is the super user of whole operating system, which have all the privileges. So we just switched the user from Amit to root, we didn't change any directory and we didn't change any location. So we are currently in the location, home Amit downloads, where we previously are. So if we want to go to root users home directory, what we have to do, the similar command which we learned earlier, cd change directory. And if you write in front of cd anything, it will take you to that directory. So if you want to move to the origin directory, so just type nothing, type cd space and enter. So it will take you to home directory of root. So now when you print pwd present working directory, see, now we have changed the directory from slash home amit downloads to slash root. This is the origin directory, where our root users home directory lies. So this is that. Okay, so we have covered here. So suppose, okay, so we will again use clear command to clear out the terminal. Okay, so there is a command. Suppose you want to see all the previously entered command which you have entered till the time this terminal opens. So there is a command called history. So with the help of history, it will just show you that these are the 4 commands which you have used in the past in this terminal. So this is another small command, history. Okay, so suppose ls. Okay, suppose you want to make suppose you want to make a new folder here. So as you do in the Windows, right click and new folder. You don't have to do nothing there. So in the Linux, the command is mkdir. As I have explained here, mkdir. This command is stands for make the directory. So you are asking Linux operating system to make a directory for you. So you just have to type mkdir and the name you want to give to the folder. Suppose you want to give a folder named tool. So you are asking Linux that please make a directory for me with the name of tool. You will hit enter and you want to check that Linux directory is created or not. Type ls. Okay, so earlier you have nothing in the folder. Now you have a directory called tool. So you can access the directory by giving the command cd change directory tool, and now you are inside tool directory. So this is how some basic commands work in Linux. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's self-explanatory, so you can anyone can be confused about that. So this is some basic command. Now we'll move towards files. Files are just common. So now we'll see how we can create a new file in Linux, how we can write into it, edit into it, copy files from one location to another, move the file, remove the file. All we'll see all these things. We'll just clear out the terminal here.
Yeah,
Okay.
just a minute. So
Yeah.
till then we covered out the basic structure and the basic basic level of the Linux OS, right? So till then, if anyone have any doubt regarding the whatever we have covered yet, so please ask, and then we can move ahead with the operations for the files. Anyone?
Hello. Yeah, I have one question. Like, what is the basic difference in between sudo su and su?
Yeah, okay. So this is pretty much a common thing. So I like that you notice this. So when I'm typing just su with the user Amit, which let me just show you again. Okay, so when initially I was typing here su, so it is not letting me go to the super user because the user Amit don't have the administrative access, administrative permission. So not any user can use the command sudo, because for that you have to add that user to a particular file. Any user that comes under that file only use sudo. So when I'm using just su here, it is asking for me administrative password which I don't have. So that's why the user Amit is added in sudo file. So the user Amit is able to access sudo command, which is he's just asking that please run this su command with the privileges of sudo user, with the privileges of administrator, because Amit user won't be able to run su command directly. It is asking for some password which he don't have. So Amit user is asking the operating system that please run this command with the help of sudo, with the help of administrative privileges, and then when you run enter, it lets you change the directory to the administrative user. Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay. Sudo command is nothing. It is just providing you the administrative privileges.
Yeah. So that's great. And anyone else have any? Okay. So
Okay.
Amit, we can move ahead with the file submission.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's move. Okay. Now, so let's go to the user Amit. Okay. So here, here we can see there are lots of directories, but we don't have any file. So file, the ones you see in the blue mark, so it is represent directories. So as soon as we will create a file, so it will not appear as blue in blue color. So let's create a, let's create a file. So here are few commands through which we can create a file in Linux operating system. So the most basic command will be command called touch. So you have to write touch touch and the name of the file you want to give. Okay, suppose let's give a name Amit only. Okay, Amit only. So we are asking that please create a file with the name Amit. Hit enter. Okay, now we'll list accordingly ls. See, so now we have all the directories which are previously present, but there is another file with the name Amit. So this is a file which we asked to create. So we have this. So now, okay, so there are two more commands which you can use to create, to create a file. I'll show you one more, which is called cat. With the help of cat command, I have mentioned here also, with the help of cat command, you can ask operating system to create cat and then create an arrow and the name of the file you want to give. Suppose we want to create neeraj.txt. We are asking that please create a neeraj.txt file with the help of cat command. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there is some error with this. Wait, let me just wait. Okay, so there is some problem. Okay, so you can create with a cat command also. Yeah, so that is not printing the output. See,
Hello,
we
sir.
have, yeah, hello.
So I think cat command is used to write inside the
No,
file.
cat command is used to insert a file, create a file, as well as to edit a file. Cat command you can use for all the operations. See, I have just created a file called neeraj.txt with the help of cat command. Okay, so cat command, you're right, cat command is useful for to edit a file, but it is also used to create a file. Okay, hope it's clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we have two files, one we have created with the help of touch and one we have created with the help of cat command. Okay, so now let's see how we can edit into these files. So as okay, so for that we have some text editors which comes with Linux. So there are many text editors you can use, but most popular ones are vi and nano. Okay, so we'll be exploring these two in this session. So let's first use nano. Okay, so now we have a file called Amit and we want to go inside that file and write something. So what we will do, we will use nano command, which is the name of text editor, and we will give the name of the file Amit. It will it will prompt us another window. So this, here we are inside of a file and we can write anything. Suppose Amit, which is DevOps engineer. Okay, so we have written some content into this file, and now we want to, if we want to save it, so you can see all the options available here, or you can directly save it with the help of Control O, and it comes that please you want to write inside a file Amit, just hit enter and then hit Control X. You'll get out of that window. So now what we have done, we have created a file Amit, and with the help of nano editor we have edit or inserted some text inside that Amit file. So now how will we check that the text has gone into Amit file or not? So for that what Neeraj Oja I think suggested, we can use cat command for that. What we can do, we can just write cat and the name of the file Amit. So what this command will does is, this command will display whatever inside that Amit file. See, so we have a text called Amit DevOps Engineer inside this Amit file. So cat through cat command we can display whatever is inside the file. Suppose if we use cat command with neeraj.txt, so till now we haven't written anything inside neeraj.txt, so it should be empty. Okay, so let's try one thing. Let's write something neeraj.txt inside that. We'll again use nano, the editor name, and the file name which we want to which we want to write. So after clicking enter, this will give us the window. Here we can write anything. So suppose here we write Antino labs private limited. So we have written something inside neeraj.txt, and now we'll hit Control O to save it. Press enter and come outside the file with the help of Control X. Okay. So what? So now we have written something inside neeraj.txt also. So we'll again check that the text is there or not. Cat and the and the name of the file. See, cat neeraj.txt. See, so we have the text Antino Labs Private Limited. So through this way you can insert anything inside any file which you create. You can create a file with the help of touch, cat, anything, and you can edit the file with the help of any text editor. So we have seen nano text editor here. So
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Sir, we can use less also instead of cat.
yeah, you can do. So for performing one action there will be different commands in Linux, but in a session of 1 hour we cannot cover everything. So I have mentioned pretty much as I can in the documentation. So I'll give you an overview of each topic to you with the help of 1 to 2 commands. And there, yeah, you are right, there can be multiple commands to perform similar action in Linux. So that can be there. You can there is also a command called echo. So with the help of echo also you can create a file. There must be
Yes,
some
sir.
more commands. So yeah, there are many commands, but we will explore one of these. It's great you already know these much of command. It's really great. So yeah, so we have explored nano editor here. So with the help, nano editor is pretty much simple as I shown you. Nano and the file name, you can go inside the file and edit the file. The same you can do with the help of vi editor also. This will be the same, but vi editor comes with lots of more options. So I have I have leave the link here also. As soon as you will click this link, you'll be redirecting into a window where you can just learn about the operating system and learn about that particular editor. Suppose nano and vi. So please make a use of these links, so which which will be redirecting to you to a particular page for individual command. So this is how the text editors will work. So now we will see another concept in Linux called path. What a path is, and there will be two type of paths. What are absolute path, and what is a relative path. So let me explain you with the help of practical, so that way you will be better understand. Suppose let's clear the terminal with the help of clear command we have seen earlier. Now let's print our working directory. See, so we have print where we are currently. So we are inside home Amit folder. So this is a path. A path, as its name explain, it gives you where you are. It gives you the direction where you have to go, where you want to go. So this is specify a path. So it is showing us that this forward slash represent root. So you are inside root folder, and there is a folder name called home. You are inside that, and there is a folder called Amit which is inside home. So this is the path of your current working directory. So suppose we want to move to a path called downloads. We if we move to a directory called downloads, and now we print present working directory. So our path change. It is saying that after Amit you have gone inside of another directory which is called and downloads. This is where you currently are. So this is what a path is specified in Linux. Okay, so there are two type of paths. One is absolute path, and one is relative path. So let me just show you what is absolute and relative path. Suppose you are currently in downloads folder. Okay, so if you want to go okay, let me just show. Okay, so you are currently inside home Amit download. Suppose you want to go, there is some another directory inside home with not with the name Amit, with some other name, and you directly want to move there. Okay, so then you have to specify the whole path name. I will show you how. So you are just saying cd change the directory, and now you, if you give the whole path where you want to go, suppose you want to go slash, and inside root there's a folder called where, which I explained you inside that, that file structure diagram, and there is a folder called log. So what you are saying is, please change the directory from where I am currently to the directory called slash where slash log, and you will hit enter. See, so the prompt here changes from downloads to where log, and if you print pwd here, so it is showing you that you are inside where and log directory. So what you have done is, you have changed your directory completely, and you have given the whole path where you want to go. Okay, so this comes under absolute path. Absolute means you if you want to change your directory from somewhere to anywhere else, you will provide the whole path starting with the root. Okay, so absolute path comes with there. And second one is relative path. So relative path is, let's list all the content which is inside this folder. So inside where log folder, we have lots of things, lots of files and everything else. So suppose you want to move, you want to move in this directory, in directory called private. Okay, so what you will do, change my directory to the directory name private. Okay, so see, as I explained you earlier, so this directory cannot be accessed by any user. It is asking that please use sudo, so that you can be, so that you can move it inside this folder. So now we will use sudo, and we will use again. Okay, so let's go sudo su, let's move to super user, and now we will change to private directory. Okay, so see, pwd. See, so now where we are current, so earlier we are inside var log folder, and now we are inside var log private folder. So what you have done is, you have not given the entire path, you have just given that, see, I am inside this directory already, so there are lots of folders and files inside this. Just move to one of the folder, just let, you are asking OS that, there is a directory called private, just take me to private directory. So you are not providing the entire path. There is a way that you can do so, if you write, see, so suppose earlier what you have done, you have asked that please change my directory to private. Okay, so this is how it's done. And if you do yahan pwd, so you are inside verilog folder. So this is done in a relative manner, that you are asking that, you are not providing the entire path, you are just asking, change my directory to this particular folder and nothing else. So if you want to, so now let's assume that you want to move to private directories. There is also another way. So you can also ask, please change my directory from root where log and then private, enter. See, yeah, so this all, both of these commands have similar confusion, but there are two different approaches you have used, to change your directory. One is, you have just asked that please change my directory to a directory named private, nothing else, not given the whole path. So this is called a relative. But if you want to use absolute here, you are, here also you are asking please change my directory to slash where slash log slash private. You are giving the entire path. So this is known as absolute path, and by not specifying the entire path, this is known as relative path. So this is the basic difference between these two, relative and absolute path concept. Okay, so this is pretty much it. So till now in the files section, how to create our this much file, if anyone has any doubt, they can ask. Anyone? Okay, great. See, so till now, okay, let's move to the basic folder. Yeah, so let's move to Amit user. Okay, cd to the home directory. Okay, yeah, so if you have remember, we, by the starting of this section, we have created two files here with the name of neeraj.txt and Amit. So suppose we have seen that how we can create a file, how we can insert some text inside that, what are the paths, how we can change the paths, and how we. So now we'll see how we can copy this file called Amit from the location home Amit to suppose inside documents folder. Okay, suppose you want to copy this file from here to this documents folder. What you will do, you will have a copy command. So cp specify for copy. So you want to copy the file name is Amit. Okay, you want to copy Amit inside which folder, inside the folder called documents. See, so what you have said, you have said that please copy my file Amit to this folder known as documents. So if you type ls here, Amit is still here. So let's see, is Amit available in documents or not? You will ask, please change my directory to documents, and you will have ls here. See, ls. So we have Menza talks and a file name called Amit. So what we have done, we have copied the file from previous directory to inside this folder called documents. This is how a copy command. So suppose now you want to what? You want to remove this file. You want to delete this file from this directory. You don't want it here. So how you can delete the file? So for deletion, there is a command called rm, which stands for remove. So we are asking the please remove the file with the name Amit. Enter. Okay, so we have said please remove the file with the name Amit. Ls here. See, now the file which we previously have named Amit got deleted. Okay, there is another command, pretty much short. So if you want to move the previous directory where you are previously, just beside this directory, you have to ask cd dot dot. So this will take you the previous directory. Okay, so we have a file called Amit here, but what we have seen how we can copy the file from this to another directory called document, and we have gone inside that, and we have seen how we can remove or delete a file. Okay, so this is it. So suppose there is another thing. So we have a concept called move in Windows, which we seen as cut paste. So move means you want to completely remove the file called neeraj.txt from this folder, and you want to move this folder to documents. So till now we have two things in documents. So let's see that. So move command we use mv. mv stands for move. We want to move neeraj.txt file to where? To documents. Okay, so we are asking the that please move my file with the name neeraj.txt to this folder. We'll hit enter. Ls. See, neeraj.txt file has disappeared from here. Now let's check documents, that is it available in documents or not. Ls. See, now we have neeraj.txt present here. So what this does is we have just moved the file from one directory to another. This is how we do. cd dot dot, it gets us back to the previous directory. Okay, now let's clear out the terminal. So till now we have finished what files, how we can create a file, edit a file, remove, copy or delete a file, what is absolute and relative path. So now let's see what are file permissions in a Linux.
No, Amit.
Yeah.
So can you tell me how can I rename a file?
Okay, yeah, sure.
And also like suppose I am having a directory, and suppose you are having a music directory here. So
Okay.
I want to move the entire directory to documents directory, move or copy. So can you tell me that operation also? That
Yeah,
how can
sure.
I move the entire hierarchy of a directory to another directory?
Yeah, sure. We can see that. Okay. So as Divyam asked, so let's see how we have a file called Amit here. So let's first see how we can rename this Amit file with some another name. Okay. So for that we used a similar command which we have used earlier, which is known as mv. So earlier we have seen that mv command is used to move a particular file from one place to another. The same command can be used to rename a file. So mv, and we have to specify the existing name. So the name of the file currently is Amit, and now we want to give it another name. So suppose we want to give it, as Divyam sir asked the question, we will just provide the name Divyam here. So we want to rename this Amit file with the name Divyam. We have to hit enter. Okay, just list again. See, previously we have file called Amit, we have similar file called Divyam. We can recheck that, this is the same file or not. We have used a command earlier called cat and Divyam. See, we have written text called Amit DevOps Engineer inside that file. So what has done, we just have renamed the file Amit with the name Divyam. Okay, so this is how you rename a certain file from somewhere. Okay, so now let's next question which Divyam asked, that you want to move a particular folder. Suppose you want to move the entire music folder from here to inside documents. So we'll see uh, how we can do that. So suppose let's first see how we can copy that. You have to specify cp. Okay, then you have to specify hyphen r. So what this hyphen r specifies, so anything in Linux, if it comes after this small hyphen mark, so this is referred as argument. So what you are asking here is, please copy, okay, please copy the music folder, and with the help of hyphen r you are specifying that please copy everything which is inside the music folder. R hyphen r is specify for recursive. Suppose we have lots of folders inside music, then suppose songs, then suppose documents. So the whole hierarchy will be copied from of music to where we want. Suppose we give it as document, okay, and as, so what we have done, there is a music folder still here. Now let's check the documents folder, that this directory moved there or not. So we'll change the directory to documents LSC. Earlier what we have here is we have Mensa, Leaders and Music. So there is another directory called music. So now let's go inside that. And yes, we have nothing here because we have nothing in the original directory as well. So now let's do one thing. Now let's create something inside music directory. Let's go inside music directory. Okay, ls. So we don't have anything here as of now. So now let's create another directory here with the name of song. Okay, we have used mkdir, make the directory with the name song, ls here. So now please notice that now we have created another directory with the name of song inside music. Okay, so now we will move. Okay, so now we are inside there, inside home directory of Amit user. And now what we will do, we will copy the music directory inside, let's suppose public directory. Okay, we will move the copy directory to the public directory, and we will notice that there is another directory inside music name song. So that directory will copy or not. Let's see that. So we will run again the command cp. Okay, we'll specify hyphen r for recursive. We'll ask the directory music to be copied inside what? Inside public directory. Okay, inside public directory. So what we are asking is, please copy my directory music and anything, if there is anything inside that also, with the help of hyphen r, to a directory called public. So let's hit enter. ls. Let's go inside the public directory. ls. So there is a directory called music here. So now let's go inside this also. So now see, with the help of this command, what we have done is we have copied the folder music alongside all the folders inside it also to completely a new directory. So this is how you do it. So do anyone have any question regarding these commands which we have covered just now? You can ask. Okay, let's move forward. So this is how we can play around files and copy paste.
Amit,
Sir, your
अपना
voice is pretty.
mic ठीक कर लीजिए. Yeah, you're not audible.
Yeah, am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I was asking, do anyone have any question regarding the commands which we just covered?
No.
Okay. Okay. Great. So let's move forward. Let's move forward with file permissions in Linux. What are file permissions and everything? So I can see a lot to cover in this session, but we have a little time left. Okay. So the file permissions. So okay. So there any file in Linux basically have three type of ownership. Okay, ownership as in there are three terms. I can go through them, then I will explain in practical. So there can be a user. A user is the one who owns the file. Suppose I just created a file with the name of Amit. So that Amit file belongs to me. So Amit user will be the owner of that file. Okay, so this is the user. A group is one. Suppose you have created a group. Group specify the simple meaning of itself also. Suppose you have created with group with with certain permissions, so you can add a particular user to that group. And third one is other. So what other is? So the other person specifies to someone who doesn't even create the file, nor belongs to the group of that file. It is basically somebody else who has access to that file. Okay, so let's see how we can see that. Clear out the terminal. Ls. Okay, so they so ls command we use to list out the content of our present working directory. But if as I explained earlier, if we can use hyphen and after that arguments with any of our commands in Linux operating system. So we are asking that please list out the content of my present working directory, and please list it in such a way that this L specify the long list. This will still print the content of the file, desktop, dvm, all these things, but it will print in a certain manner that it will show the the permissions of the files as well. The file belongs to which user, the time it's get created and everything. So this dvm file, it's created on 29th January, which is today, 4:30 means 4:30 p.m. and 22. Okay, and you can see this, but this is specify the whole. This is the a whole what to say, a text line here, but this is specify. I can explain this. Okay, so initially the first letter in everything, see, so everything here is a directory, a folder, except this dvm file. So this dvm file has in front slash, so this slash represent a file, so it represent that it is a file, and everything else contain d, which specify that this is a directory, not a file. Okay, so this front letter is for that. And then we have a set of 9 letters, rwx. See this thing, so this is a set of 9 letters. So what this specify? So first 3 letter r, w and x, this specify the permission of user rwx. The second third letters will specify the permission of a group, and rwx, this is specify the permission of others. So what this means, we'll see from the doc. Okay, so in the documentation I have a I have a diagram like this, you can refer. As I said, so for the first 3 letters specify who's the owner of the file or the directory. The second 3 specify who's the, what is the permission given to the group, and the third 3 specify what is the permission given to the others. So this is what this combination specify. So now let's see what is this rwx. Let's see this. So r stands for read, w stands for write, and x stands for execute. So what this whole text is specifying, I can explain you in a go, that this is a directory with the first letter. Okay, so the owner has read, write and execute permission to this directory. The group has read, not write, but execute permission to this directory, and anyone else other than that user on which concludes in a group has only read and execute permission, had not have write permissions in this directory. So these combination of letters are used for that. So they we have suppose we have a file. Okay, so now long list. So now just work on the file called dvm. Okay, so you see what I have done. I have just used another argument. What I have done, I have said please list the content. The whatever the content you will be printing, please list in long, means all the permission and everything, and please list only the content with the name dvm. So this is how you filter things in Linux. So it has printed only one content with the file name dvm. So here what we have the owner permission, which don't, it is a file first specification. We have read, write but not execute permission, read, write, not execute, and for others it is have only read permission. So suppose you want to change permission in Linux of a file, how you can do that? So for that, there is a command called chmod. Okay, so this stands for change the mode. Basically, it's asking to change the permission. Okay, and you are asking that please add the execute permission. How you specify? Plus means add, x means execute permission in the file name Divyam. So what you are asking is please change the permission of Divyam file, and please add the permission of execute also. Hit enter and just run the previous command. See what's new here. We still have it's a file, but earlier it don't have the execute permission, but we just provided the execute permission with the help of chmod command. So now this any whose owner has the execute permission, okay, group has the execute permission, and others also who earlier don't have execute, now it has the execute permission as well. So this is how you change change the permissions. Suppose now you want to remove the execute permission, just negative sign basically specifies for remove. Just hit enter and then run the previous command. Now what you have done previously, you have add the permission with the help of plus, with the help of minus you can remove the permission. Okay, so this is how you change permission of a file. Either you can add, remove, or do anything. You can play around anything. So there are still another way how you can change it with the help of numbers. So this is something this table specifies. Suppose you want to give a file with all three permissions: read, write, as well as execute. But you don't want to perform it one by one. That suppose please give it write plus x plus w plus x. So you can just specify with the help of numbers 111. Suppose see now it's have only read and write execute. Now if we want to give it directly the permission of read, write, and execute, you can specify 111. I can show you. Chmod, change the permission to 111 of the file name Divyam. Just hit enter and see what we have done. It has removed all the file permissions here. Okay, so this table specifies something wrong. I can change it. Okay, so with the help of numbers, you can give or remove permissions from a file as a whole. You don't have to specify it one by one. Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, so next one will be how you can create another user in your system.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah, sure.
So what is long list format in the LS?
Okay. Long list format, you want to ask this, right? What is this? Okay.
So that means, sir, if we give the command ls
Mhm.
-al.
Okay. So you want to specify what are these AL? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So previously, so in any of the directory, okay. So you have certain. Suppose I have just list out the content. So there are certain directories as well as files, but there are some directories present in this particular folder which is not shown to the user directly. So if you specify -a, if you give -a argument to list, so what it will do, it will just print out the directory which initially was not visible to the user. Suppose if you print enter, see earlier we just have this much of a directories, but now what we have done, we have specified a -a argument also. So what is this argument is saying, please list out all the content, whether it is visible or it is not visible, whether it is hide from the user. So what it is doing is there are directly called .atom, .cache, .cinnamon, config, these directories which is initially not present. So this is what -a argument does. -a argument basically show you those directories or those files also which initially was not visible to you. Okay, so this is what -a argument does. Hope it's clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And other than that, actually there are many more options possible for a particular command. So you can view that option using the command space -help.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So you can view that option, some other options for that command also.
Okay, so basically, yeah. So Harshit sir has absolutely corrected that for a single command there can be infinite number of arguments. So you cannot learn all the arguments, but you can see all the options which are available with that particular commands with the help of ls help. Okay, wait, let man ls. Okay, see. So what I have done is I have just asked that with the help of man command, please give me the documentation for ls command. So what this does is this will show you the name of command. Ls means list directory, synonyms. It will show you all the arguments which you can perform with the help of that command. See, there can be infinite number of arguments. So that was issue. So with this particular command which is called man is very useful. If you want to learn anything regarding any command, you can just type man and the command. Suppose we want to learn about cd, so man cd. So it will, okay, so
And
it
some
will,
basic, yeah.
yeah.
And Amit, you can also type ls space dash dash help for just a common view.
Yeah, see, so ls status help will also give you a small documentation, uh, originally from the your distribution, the official documentation regarding that command. So this is how you can explore. I'll add this command in the documentation also. Suppose in future you want to reference it, you can reference it from there. Just clear the terminal. Okay, so where we are about to create a user. We are about to learn how we can create a user, how we can switch user and everything. All about user. Suppose you want to, let's first move to super user. Okay, the user with the name root. Okay, so now we are in the root user, and now suppose we want to create another user with the name user add. So pretty straightforward command. The command with the name user add, you are asking that please create a new user with the name of suppose Ankit. So you want, initially you are in root user, you have a user called Amit. Now you are saying please create a user called Ankit for me. Hit enter. Now you have a user created Ankit for you. So now give that user a particular password you can use. Okay, so for that you have similar command called pass wd. Give the password to the user Ankit. Okay, hit enter. Set up your password. Suppose we set up Ankit, ANKIT only. Enter, retype your password. Okay, so it says that your password has been updated successfully. What you have done with the help of user add, you have created a user called Ankit. With that help of passwd, you have created a password for that user. So now you want to move to that user. For that you have a command called su. Okay, see, su switch the user. Su stands for switch the user from root to Ankit. No, take me to Ankit user. Hit enter. Okay, okay. So yeah, so now it's asking for the password for Ankit user, which we have said ANKIT initially. Okay, I have set it Ankit or not. It's so ANKIT. Okay, so I don't know what user I have done. Okay, so let's move to there. I miss, there's a typo there. I basically said the password something else which is not recognizing now. Okay, we can do that later. So now suppose we want to list out all the users which are present in our system, including the user Ankit we have just created. So how we can verify that is the user created or not? So there is a directory called etc passwd. So this directory contains every information about the user. So let's move to this directory. Okay, so we want to change cd. Let's go first to super user. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to cat, we want to print out all the content in the directory called /etc /passwd. So this is the directory. Hit enter. See, we have this much of things inside this users with root super user, daemon, which is present by default, bin, sys, games, man, everything. And at last, we have a user called Amit, which we are using throughout the session. And we have a user called Ankit, which we have just created. Okay, welcome back to Amit Ankit. So this
Amit,
is how we.
your voice is not clear now.
Yeah, am I clear now?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Thank you for reminding that. Okay, so this is the list of all the users which are present in the system. Amit user, which we are using throughout the session. Ankit user, which we have just created now. So I have specified the command in the document also. With this command, you can specify what all the user related information in your system. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's explore what is package manager. Okay. Abhishek sir, is it okay to continue because it's 5/7 or hello Abhishek sir?
Yes, Amit.
We can continue, right?
Yes, if you want, you can continue for. We don't have much time, but you can
Yeah, it will
conclude
take 10
things.
minutes. I'll just explore
Yes, sir.
explain about package manager and that's it.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so yeah, okay. So we have a concept called package manager. What the package manager is nothing but a tool in your operating system which allows the user to install, to remove, to upgrade, to configure, or to manage any software package in your operating system. So basically, we have different type of package managers available, such as apt or yum. So these are nothing but different names of different type of package manager. We will use apt in this session. So now explore and install a software called Apache with the help of apt. Okay. So now let's move to the terminal. So what we have to write here, see. So the package manager name apt. Okay. And what you want to do, you want to install something, apt install, and the name of your software, Apache 2. So we are asking that please install a software with the help of apt Apache 2. It is asking you to continue, press Y and enter. So it will do nothing, it will just install the software with the name Apache. Okay. So you guys are more familiar with Windows. In Windows, what you have to do, you have to download a file from internet and then you have to manually install that file. So if so this is the benefit of Linux. You can install any software if you want, if you know the right command with just a click of one click. So now let's see whether our Apache Apache software is installed or not. For that we have a command called sudo is not, we have command called systemctl. Please check the status of the software with the name Apache 2. Let's explore this also. What we want to do, we want to do systemctl. Please check the status of my software called Apache 2. Hit enter. See, so it has given you a small doc type which shows that Apache 2.service is currently in active state. It currently running in your system, and it started 40 seconds ago. So this is how you see. So now suppose you want to stop this particular service from running. Okay, you have a similar command called systemctl. Okay, and what you want to do, you want to stop the service. Stop the service name. Service name is Apache 2. So, okay, so now let's again check the status. See now what the status is, inactive or dead, because we have passed a command that please stop this particular service. And similarly, if you want to restart the service, you just have to write systemctl. Okay, and what you want to do, you want to start the service with the name Apache 2. Okay, now let's check again status of our service. It comes back again to active and running. So this is how you can manipulate with the softwares, and you can play around with the softwares pretty simply in Linux. So this is about package manager. This is about how you can install a software, how you can check its status, start, stop, or restart it. So this is about it. Okay, so last topic which I want to cover here. Yeah, do anyone have any question?
Hello, sir.
Okay, so
Amit, I guess shell is a very wide topic because shell is not just four commands. So we can maybe cover it in some other session on the letterhead sessions another, or maybe guys can cover it from using the doc. So
Okay.
I guess Abhishek sir, we cover most of the things, and guys, there are many more options available in the Linux, many more commands available in the Linux. So yes, and there are many more distributions available, and it might happen that according to the distribution of the Linux, the command behavior might change, but so there are many more options. So completely depend upon how much you explore the commands and how much you use in your daily routine, right? So this is all for Linux. We try to cover most of them, the most of the basic commands. So yes. So Abhishek sir, we I think we have covered. We should we have done at our end. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes. Thank
yeah,
you,
that's
Ashit.
it.
Thank you, Amit. And anything else that Amit that can be covered in very maybe in few seconds, which are important. Maybe
Yeah,
WSL in Windows.
yeah,
After
sure.
that, we can
So
conclude the session.
yeah, so
Sure.
suppose if you don't have a Linux operating system, but you still want to explore all these commands, there can be two, multiple ways, but a few which I can share with you. So you can, if you guys can have a AWS account, or if you don't have, you can create one account with AWS, which comes under free tier, so you will not get charged for anything, any service which you use. And there you can, manually create an EC2 instance, something called EC2 instance, and there you can, manually create your a small instance with any type of operating system you want to explore. Either it can be Apache, either it can be Ubuntu, it can be, Red Hat, or any operating system you want to explore, and then you can explore the commands there. Or you have a software called WSL which comes in Windows. So it is nothing but a Windows subsystem for Linux, if which lets this gives a GNU or a Linux environment in your Windows. You don't have to download any virtual machine, or you don't have to dual boot your Windows. There is a simple software called WSL which comes in your Windows. You can use that software to get an environment for Linux and explore all the commands there. I'll add a link here from where you can download, and you can find the step how to download WSL and install it. So I'll leave it in documentation. I'll give access to you all of this documentation. You can explore everything which we have covered in this session. Or if you want to explore more about any command, the links will be there in the documentation. Feel free to check out all the links and explore as much as you can. Yeah, this is pretty much it, Abhishek sir.
Yeah. So, any doubts, any questions?
Sir, I have a doubt in that package manager, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, why do people use APT instead of Dpkg?
Okay, so uh, so that so Dpkg is a software. So initially Linux has what to say. Initially, Linux has few softwares which are present in its repository by default, but few softwares are which are not present in by default. You can use Dpkg or you can use APT. Both will work the same way, but APT repository covers more number of softwares, or has wide range than Dpkg. So that's why late in recent times APT gets more population, more what to say reach than Dpkg. So APT gets used by them. But in Red Hat or anywhere else, there is a command called yum which do not have an alternative for that. So they basically use a single package manager called yum. So this is why most of them use APT.
And there is no such limitation in order to use a particular package manager. You can also, the market has many more package managers available, so you can them
Yeah,
also.
so
So that
these
is
two
not
are
such limitations.
example which we covered in this session. There are more, I will leave a list. Leave a link in the documentation which gives you the list of all the package managers. You can explore from there. So if anyone have any question from the whole session, or in any particular topic, in any particular command, you can ask.
Or later also they can reach Amit
Yeah, okay. So
and
later
in the
on,
comment section.
please go to the document, and if anyone have any question, please feel free to reach out on Teams, either to Harshit sir or me. We'll be happy to help you.
So I think everybody is very eager to conclude the session very soon because the other session on copy break, which is more interesting, is going to start. Or I think it's already started.
Yeah, it is.
So I think we can conclude the session now. So thank you everyone.
Okay.
Thank you for giving your time. I hope
Thank
you have
you.
learned something very useful.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you, team.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye everyone.